Greetings YouTube and welcome to the next episode of How to Vanguard. So in the last couple of videos I've gone over what the cards look like and the stuff you'd find on the cards, things that are of course within the rulebook itself. As of this moment we have covered pages 4, 5, and part of page 6 and page 7. Just a quick note. Some of the other stuff I talked about, like some of the lingo I use, such as superior call, superior stand, and whatnot, this stuff can be found on page 29 as well. Normal ride, normal call, superior call, etc., etc. So, yeah, there's like bases and definitions, and then there's even frequently asked questions. Let's see, they actually explain a couple things like Dudley Dan and whatnot, but this is an older version of the rulebook. If you buy a more recent trial deck, then it'll tell you about some more recent stuff that come up. But there's Limit Break, Restraint, Mega Blast, Special, Intercept, Persona Blast, Cross Ride, Bind. Break Ride will be in the upcoming rulebook. So yeah, again, these playbooks are very handy, and in today's video we are going to be going over basically how to play a game. Indeed, we're going to be playing a game in this one, or rather we're going to be doing a mock game. And I've got two decks set up like this. We're going to be on actually both ends for a couple things, but we're going to be playing as Narukami for all purposes and intents because it's, well, I'm going to be perfectly honest, this is just my preferred deck. But yes, this is how we got our match set up, and this actually leads me into the first part of this video, and that is we're going to break down what a card by Vanguard field looks like. Okay, so let's go over how a Vanguard field looks like. As you can see here, I've got the starter deck mat out because this doesn't have any artwork that blocks off all this stuff. So you can actually see what all the things on here are. So, got your 1 Vanguard Circle, your 5 Rearguard Circles, got your damage zone. Starter mat conveniently comes with a turn order, and it tells you all your phases and your sub-phases. Then you got your Guardian Circle, your deck, your drop zone, this is the graveyard, and then you got your trigger zone. We'll get to that later on when we actually do a hypothetical battle, but I just want to break down all the individual spots first. And we'll start with the big one, which is the Vanguard Circle. It's the spot that's occupied by your Vanguard, the guy who will be doing a good bulk of your heavy hitting, as it's the Vanguard that allows you to perform the drive check, which allows you to potentially deal more damage through triggers. But on the flip side, your Vanguard's also the one that takes damage for you, and once you've taken 6 damage, you lose the game. Now, in regards to the other spots, which are the Rearguard Circles, they're a bit different, but at the same time, they're kind of similar in that they're able to take damage and deal damage, but instead of you taking damage for having a Rearguard get hit, they just simply get destroyed, or retired as they're referred to in game. So, you've got your front Rearguards, that's the front row, those are the ones that can actually do damage. And then you got your back row. So we'll set this up like this. So I've got these guys. Actually, no. Let's just do this. There. Okay. So, as I mentioned in the last video, grade 0s and grade 1s have the ability to perform the boost. The boost is them adding their power to the unit that's in front of them for extra damage. So in this situation, let's have the Draconic Kaiser Vermilion perform an attack. Well, he's going to be swinging for 11,000. But this Photon Bomber Wyvern is also going to be using its boost ability to add 6,000 to his attack, making him actually 17,000. And then Vermilion is then able to either attempt to hit the opposing Vanguard for damage, or he can hit a Rearguard, try to retire it, what have you. Now then, Rearguards can do the same thing, so this guy's also going to attack. He'll be boosted by this 5,000 for 16,000, and then this guy's going to attack, and he's going to be boosted by this 8,000 guy in order to perform an 18,000 damage attack. Secondly, you remember how I talked about grade 2s having the ability to perform intercepts. This is just again how they do it. Grade 2s in the front Rearguard spot. Let me get another grade 2 into my other spot. There he is. Okay, so let's just pretend I now have 2 grade 2s in play. So let's say my Vermilion is being attacked, and I don't want to use cards from my hand to block it. Well, now seeing I have 2 grade 2s in my front Rearguard Circles, I can have them perform an intercept, and they go into the Guardian Circle, which leads me into this next part, the Guardian Circle. The Guardian Circle is where you put cards in order to protect your Vanguard or your rear guards from attack. So say my Vermilion is being attacked by a monster with 15,000 total attack, which means if I have 6,000 worth of defense or more, I can negate it. And in this case, I'm going to throw this guy up for an intercept. That's 5,000 itself. And then I'm also going to take this 5,000 shield into my hand because he's got 5,000 power, although this focus is terrible for it. But there, I've got 10,000 worth of shield in the Guardian Circle. Barring some strange happenstance happening, I'm not going to take damage. And that is what the Guardian Circle is for. So, now that we've explained all the spots on the map, let's card fight. Okay, so now that we're in a card fight, let's start getting this stuff done. So, first things first, let's decide who's going first. We'll have this player go first, because this deck is a lot easier to do this kind of things with, whereas this is a more complicated deck to go about. But yeah, it'll be Narukami versus Oracle Think Tank, and now that we've decided who's going first, we'll both go through our decks, and we will look for a grade 0 unit to start with. You can choose any grade 0 you have, but you're more or less going to be going with your special one, referred to as the starter or forerunner in later sets. So we'll take this Spark Kid Dragoon, and we'll put him face down. After that, we'll shuffle our deck and offer it to the opponent to cut after they've done the same thing. So he'll put a grade 0 down, he'll shuffle his deck, and he'll offer it to me to cut. So I'll cut his deck, give it back to him, he'll cut my deck, and give it back to me. After that, draw 5 cards. I'll draw 5 as well. And now, let's look at our hand. See what we get. Okay, this is a decent hand. The ideal hand you want is a grade 1, a grade 2, and a grade 3. At least one of each, so that you can perform just your go in the motions. Start with a grade 0, then upgrade, 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 upgrade. If you're missing one of these, then what you can do is you can attempt to mulligan into them. As it is, I also drew a critical trigger. I don't really want this in my hand. I want this in my deck to reveal for my checking stuff. And do I want the Dragonic Death Scythe? That's a kind of a tough decision, but we'll just shuffle back this one. I could shuffle back 2, but I'm kind of also content with these. So we'll shuffle back 1. And we'll shuffle our deck up and offer it to the opponent to cut. Let me just take this moment to see if my opponent has anything they want to do. So the opponent's going to mulligan back 3 cards. And they'll go through the deck and see if they can draw into something better. Offer it to me to cut. So opponent cuts my deck, gives it back to me, I'll cut their deck, give it back to them. So my opponent mulligan back 3, so they will draw 3. And I mulligan back 1, so I'll draw 1. What did I draw? Perfect guard. Okay. So, now that that's done, stand up and begin the game.